Hi 2-3, welcome to math. Like I said in the reading video, let's stay focused this week. Please make sure you're completing all of your assignments, you're staying on it. That way next week when we have a project week, you are able to relax a little bit and you don't have to stress about making up all these assignments before report cards are due. Okay? So let's keep at it. We only have a couple weeks left and we want to stay motivated. So this week for math, we are focusing on another important skill that I want you to see before third grade because it's, again, a huge skill in third grade, and it's fractions, okay? So fractions are very important in third grade. We're just going to be doing basic fractions right now in second grade just to kind of introduce it again so you're seeing it, it's fresh in your mind, and that way you have the basics when you get to third, okay? So today, you're going to see in a second, all we're going to be doing is identifying fractions. So very first one, watch my video on how to complete the lesson. Number two, you're going to watch the short video, which is right down here, 2 minutes long, again about fractions. And then you're going to complete the identifying fractions practice in Google Slides. And since this is a new concept, any questions you have, of course, please message us. Don't just submit it if you're still confused. We will be doing some Eureka lessons on fractions starting tomorrow, but I wanted to start with the Google Slides just to kind of ease you into it first. So this is what we're going to be doing. There are two different kinds of questions you're going to be doing today with identifying fractions, and this is the first one. So I'm going to model two of them for you. That way you know what to do. So when we do fractions, we have a top number, which is called a numerator, and a bottom number, which is called a denominator. Now, what that means is the top number is basically always going to ask you how many are shaded in, okay? Now, that's like the parts that are shaded. Now, sometimes it could be not shaded, but we're not getting into that yet. That's something a little bit more complicated. Right now, we're worried about how many parts are shaded. So when I look at this, I see that there are two parts that are colored in. Okay, you can see part 1, part 2 is colored in. Then the denominator, which is the bottom number, is the total number of equal parts. Yep, I said equal because it cannot be a fraction if the parts are not equal. Okay, so when I look at this, I see all parts are equal, and I have 1, 2, 3 parts, okay? So I have 2, and now when I read a fraction, I'm not going to say 2, 3. That's not what we say. It would be considered 2/3, okay? 2/3. Because here I have 1/3. That's not it because I have more than one colored in. 1/2. Nope, that's not it. And then 2/3 is my answer. So all I'm going to do is take it and I'm going to drag it over here. Okay, so that's all you have to do for these questions. I'm going to do one more like this. So now when I look at this part, again, the top part is the first number is what is shaded. So in this part, I have 1 that is shaded in, and then I have 2 total parts, right? So a lot of us will want to say 1/2, 1, 2, but that's not how you would say this, okay? Some of us even might want to say 1 and second because we talked about 1/3, right? But that's not right either. This one's special when it looks like this. This is called 1/2. That's how you read it, 1/2, because half of the shape, okay? When you look at this, half of it. So 1/2 is what we call this fraction. So that's why I wanted to do this one, because this one some of us do get kind of confused on sometimes. So it is called 1/2, not 1, 2, not 1 second, 1/2, okay? All right, so that's what this is. Now, the next set of questions that you will have to do are going to look like this. But there was one in particular I wanted to do, so I just want to make sure I do it. Sorry, let me just find the one that I wanted to do. Found it. Okay. So on this kind, you will be given 4 fractions, right? 4 shapes that are divided equally, and then you are going to have to drag them to match the fractions. So this one is telling me 3/4. So I need to come over here and look. First, because it's saying fourths, I know that it needs to be divided up into 4, and that 3, because the top number is how many are shaded, 3 need to be colored in. So when I come over here, this is all colored in. So that and it's not in 4s, right? It's split in half. So that's not it. Now I'm going to come down here. I have 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's in fourths. And 1, 2, 3 are colored in. So this is 3/4. So I'm going to take it and I'm going to drag it right there. Now the next one is 1/4. Again, that fourth. I know I'm looking for a shape that is split into 4s. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, but this does not have just 1, so it can't be that. 1, 2, 3, 4. This has 1 shaded in, so that's 1/4. Okay? Now this one says 2 halves, 2 halves. So that means, remember halves I told you, okay, is when it was split into half. So when I come over here, I see that this is split into half, right? And this is 1/2 of the shape, and this is 2 halves of the shape. And that equals 1 whole. If I have a half and I put them together, I have 1 whole. That's what makes the whole, okay? So this would be considered 2 halves. And then the last one, it's saying 2/4. So again, like before, we saw that this was split into 4. 2 parts are shaded, so this is considered 2/4. And that's all you have to do for the rest of the problems, okay? So again, I just want to quickly make sure, just to go over this one more time, okay? When it comes to fractions, the top number is telling you, the very first number is telling you how many are shaded, okay? So you're going to count how many are shaded. That's your first number. The second number is going to be how many total equal parts your shape is split into. So again, 2 parts were shaded here, and it had 1, 2, 3 total equal parts. Remember, the bottom's the total. The second number is the total number of parts. So that means that this fraction would be considered 2/3. Now also, when we do fractions, another thing I'm going to keep telling you is it has to be equal. I know today we're not drawing fractions or making them, but we will be later on in the week. So pay attention that when you're looking at all these fractions, you're noticing that all these shapes are split equally. Because if they were not split equally, you could not have a fraction. Okay, so pay attention to that because that's important for you to start thinking about for our upcoming Eureka lessons on fractions. All right, so that's pretty much all you're doing today. Again, today I told you was an introduction on fractions. You're just looking at the shape and you're identifying the fraction. And then the same thing like we said here, you're just going to be taking the fraction that they told you and finding it over here and dragging it. Very basic today, should be simple. If you have any questions, you're confused, you want me to work with you, message me. I'm here. I will work with you through it, okay? Good luck. Have fun with fractions.